Good afternoon. Hello, Key. All right, I was late posting that we were going to be here, so hopefully folks have a chance to join. I'll give it some time. Hopefully you all can hear me. Happy New Year, Key. I'm happy you are able to be here as well. Good morning, Courtney. Good afternoon, Linda. Good afternoon, Cynthia. Happy New Year to you as well. Good morning from Vegas. Happy New Year to you. Of course. Hello, Latasha. Good morning, Lisa. You are also in North Carolina. Good morning from North Carolina. Good morning, Judith. Happy New Year to you as well. All right. I am absolutely. Same to you, Latasha. All right. I am going to kick it off. Happy that you all are all here to join. Let me do my intro and then we can get started chatting. All right. I did that right. All right. Good morning or good afternoon, depending on your location. My name is Jewel Pearson, and this is Miss Bohemian Soul TV. This segment is Creating Home, a tiny house series. The segment we're about to kick off is the What's Your Question segment, where I am answering frequently asked tiny house questions. And as I introduce myself, I like to say that I built a kind of fancy tiny house in 2015. And since that time, I have shared my journey to hopefully inspire others who are interested in the movement. I do offer coaching, and consultations to help others in their tiny house journey. And you will be able to find links to schedule with me in the video description once this goes live. And as I'm doing all of that, I like to serve up a lot of representation in this movement. I do want us to see ourselves and to be able to be part of this movement safely, have conversations that we need to have to ensure our safety and participation in this movement. It is my intent to build figurative and literal community that is inclusive and accessible. And if you find this information in the video helpful, I hope that you will like it, you'll share it, you'll subscribe to the channel, and then turn on the notification so that you'll know when content is here and available. All right. Let me see. Happy Sunday, Rosalind. Welcome very much. Oh, Judith is sending me something. Thank you, Judith. Hello, Day. Hello from Miami. I'm sure it's beautiful and warm in Miami. It's nice. It's actually sunny here. It's a beautiful day here, so I can't complain. We have had some cloudy days, which are not my favorite, but it is a beautiful sunny day here as well. Thank you all for being here in community with me on this Sunday. This is the last Sunday of 2023. I am sorry I didn't get to be with you all last week. I actually have been hospitalized. I had a TIA, which is what I'm going to talk about with you all today. And make sure you all know the signs, the things that helped me make sure I was okay, and just chat before uh, um, we kick off 2024 so that we're all connected and doing the things to take care of ourselves and all of that good stuff. So I did share on Instagram yesterday. Yesterday was a week that I was post my TIA experience. And I have been in the hospital from last Saturday to Wednesday. I got out Wednesday, early afternoon, and so I wanted to talk about what happened, kind of make sure folks know the things that they need to be aware of to take care of themselves. So a TIA is a transient ischemic, I think is how you say it, transient ischemic attack. Let's spell it. Transient, ischemic, ischemic attack, a TIA. It is also known as a mini stroke. And thank you, Rosalind. I am 100% better that I am, which is evident by the fact that I can sit here and have this conversation with you all. Hi, V. Welcome. Good afternoon. It is a mini stroke. It is scary. I can say that it was actually terrifying. Yes, Linda, a mini stroke, but a stroke nonetheless, a mini stroke. Um, yes, I was in the hospital. I think you, Rosalind, meant to say mini stroke. Yes, it is a mini stroke. And so it happened Saturday afternoon, and fortunately, I'd done the work to be, yes. Um, Thank you, Rosebud. Thank you so much. It is a mini stroke. I had done the work to be very aware of what the signs are of a stroke, and I am going to share my screen because I want to make sure you all are aware as well. So hello, Miss Ashley. Welcome. Um, so a TIA, which is what I had last Saturday, is a mini stroke, but it presents itself just like a stroke. And I was able to recognize the signs because I was aware. The acronym for stroke awareness is Be Fast, and that represents your balance, your eyes, your face, your arms, speech, and time. And so, for this, how this started out for me was absolutely balance. I was outside playing with those little feral kittens, bent over, playing with one of the kittens, and as I went to stand up, I was dizzy, very dizzy. And then I recognized that it wasn't just, initially I was thinking it was just that I had gotten up too quickly, and that it would pass. And then I recognized that it was serious and it was not passing. And I was able to get in the house. I, for some reason, that day didn't have my phone on me. I didn't have my Apple Watch. Like I never usually walk out of the house without my stuff, and I knew I didn't have it. I actually had scolded myself on the way out that I didn't have my things with me that I normally don't walk out of the house with. But I also was thinking that I was going to be very quickly. I was planning to be very quickly back in the house, and so wait a minute. Let me do that again. So I didn't have all of my things, but I didn't intend to be outside very long. Um, so I got dizzy, made it in the house, and sat on the couch. I thought I was really sitting on the couch to get myself together, but things went downhill really quickly from there. And but I was able to, like I said, I was aware of the signs, so I was kind of able to self-diagnose to recognize that I was having a stroke. So I physically couldn't reach my phone because at that point, after I sat down on the couch, I did lose feeling on my left side in my arms and legs, like I couldn't move them at all. So the A of the B fast, the arm weakness, I actually had the no no use of my arm or my left leg. My eyesight also was impacted. I actually kind of feel like it changed my eyesight a bit. And I never experienced the face weakness. So you all know me sitting where my couch is in the living room is right in front of my bathroom. And so my door there is the mirror. So I could see myself in the mirror. My face never drooped. But I had the entire no use of my left side. And then the next one, the speech, the S and the B fast. For me, I started, as I was recognizing I was having a stroke, I started trying to see if I could talk. And the interesting and very scary thing about this was I was very aware inside my head. I was very aware of what was happening, but I still couldn't control my body. My music was playing, so I started trying to see if I could sing, and I knew the words in my head, but I couldn't. Initially, I couldn't even talk, and then as I kept trying to make myself talk, I then realized that my speech was slurred. But in my head, everything that I was singing was correct. But then when I heard it finally come out, I recognized that I couldn't. It was slurred. Um, I said, as I've looked back on the timing of everything that was happening, I was actually in that state for about 45 minutes, which was absolute terror. Which is why we're having this conversation, because if I can help somebody else through this, that's what I want to do. That it was terrifying. Um, um, I am trying to get through this. So in sitting there, I couldn't reach my phone. I eventually was able to, and I don't really remember how it happened, but I was eventually able to get my phone. But again, because of the eyesight impact and the fact that I didn't have my glasses on, I couldn't really see my phone. I was able to call a friend, and she didn't answer. And this was kind of early in the process. She didn't answer, and then I just kind of was just sitting there because I couldn't get myself, I couldn't move my body. And then after about 40-45 minutes, the entire episode stopped, and I was able to get up. And I was getting ready to see about myself. I went in the restroom, and as I went in the restroom, the house just started spinning, like everything started spinning violently. And I felt nauseous, like, and then I felt like I was going to pass out, and then I knew I had to call 911. And fortunately, I had a really kind operator who I asked her to please stay on the phone with me. At that point, I was terrified, and she stayed on the phone with me. The ambulance took about 15 minutes, and then they got me to the hospital. And the like I have a whole gratitude post on Instagram, on Facebook, so much to be grateful for. But the first part of it, that and the my share here, is being aware of the signs, because a TIA, the mini stroke that I had, is um, a precursor to a major stroke. And unless you see about it and take care of it, and I'm assuming that I think they say within you're likely to have a major stroke within 24 to 48 hours of a TIA, and you're at risk. I think the risk is for the next, I can't remember. I don't know if it's the next week or the next month. I can't remember exactly, but you're at high risk. The TIA is like the introduction to you're going to have a stroke, a major stroke. And I'm assuming most people don't know what's happening, or maybe it subsides like it subsided for me, and they feel like they're okay, and maybe they don't go see about themselves. Not sure why, what would prompt someone not to take further action. Maybe they're just not in a position to take further action. I don't know, but it is serious. It is the precursor, unless you see about it and take the proper precautions. And so, like I said, I was in the hospital for 5 days. Um, I don't have high blood pressure. The CAT scan initially, they were assuming it was like an artery and impact, like something with an artery. They did CAT scan. The CAT scan didn't show that I'd had a stroke, but I was 100% clear that I'd had a stroke. It wasn't until an MRI was done that it showed that I'd had like infarctions is what it's called, where it impacts like the brain, and they can see like tissue damage from the action of and so it's a blood clot that happens. And so, in determining what caused mine initially, initially they were thinking, again, that it was impacted by arteries. That's not the case. My arteries leading to my brain are fine. But what was determined that I have is something that many people have. I think it's 1 in 4 people have, and it is, as babies, we are born with a hole in our heart, which is how the blood flows as a baby in the womb. And once then the baby is born and they begin breathing in oxygen, that hole usually grows, usually closes as the baby grows. And 1 in 4 people don't know that hole hasn't completely closed up until they experience something like a heart attack or a stroke. And that is what happened with me. The thing about it is that it normally can lie dormant. Basically, like I have, the analogy that I'm kind of using for this, and as this document says, it's unclear why the um, foramen overlay, I'm not sure I'm saying that right, why it stays open. Genetics, it says may play a part in it. Um, but again, you wouldn't necessarily know about it until you have a problem, so they were able to see it for me in an echocardiogram. The interesting part for me is and so I was getting ready to tell y'all an analogy. My analogy for what I feel like with this thing is that it's kind of like a volcano, like a dormant volcano, and it was not being impacted or impacting me until it began to kind of bubble like volcanoes do. And so for me, the bubbling of this happened because stress. And so stress, and I've said it here before, stress will kill. And I can point to I have been in a very stressful employment situation. I have shared it here that I am trying to find a way to do the tiny house stuff that I love and is my passion, and that I have known that I needed to get out of this situation. I have purposely not um, have purposely designed my life not to have stress. And so this was the thing that has been stressful for the last few months. And I knew I needed to make a change and have been working on that. Um, but a couple of months ago, I did notice like a flutter that I was feeling in my chest. And I mentioned it to my doctor. Talked to a therapist. I mentioned it to my therapist. I was thinking of it more as like anxiety and more like a panic attack. Like I would sit kind of calmly and do almost like a countdown, and it would um, calm down. And so I was thinking more of it in that manner of a panic attack, not thinking, not knowing that this was actually something that was happening that was detrimental to me. And so, what happens as this hole is opening, as this diagram is showing, what happens is, so your blood is supposed to not go from chamber to chamber. Your blood is actually supposed to go out, get oxygen, and then go around to other chambers. And what happens, what happens with me is that with this hole, blood was going from the right chamber to the left chamber through that hole, and then unoxygenated, I think is the way you say that word, blood was going across. And so a blood clot um, formed from that action and went into my brain. And so that feeling that I have been feeling has actually been um, blood flow happening across that should not be happening. My doctor said, and it's not something like when I said to my doctor, I felt it, and he actually listened to my chest and he didn't hear anything. It is not something that can be determined like by a stethoscope. And so it requires echocardiogram. It requires a heart monitor. As it happened in the hospital, the doctor could actually see like an extra heartbeat and when it would occur. And they can see the hole on the echocardiogram, but it's not something that would be determined just by a stethoscope. And so, that is what happened. And so my doctor said, as that blood is moving across, it has like a force. He said, kind of like a cyclone. It has force behind it. And as it's going across, that is the feelings that I had been feeling. And and again, it would happen during my work day. Hey, love. um I have said to my therapist, it doesn't happen outside of work, it doesn't happen on the weekends, it happens during the course of my stressful work day. And so the go forward, so there is no value, the the go forward, as they talk about this, there is no value in trying to close the hole, because it is a very dangerous surgery, and the benefits of closing it are outweighed by the danger that that surgery poses. And so what I have to do going forward is take a blood thinner every day, and that prevents blood clots from forming and causing the challenge that I just spoke to that happens with this um, patent foramen overlay. Um, so that is what happened, and I have lots more appointments. I have neurologist appointments. I have cardio appointments. I have, what other appointment do I have? Several, but I am feeling great. I am grateful that my, um, let me change my, let's see if that, oh, that didn't work. Hang on. I am grateful that my phone is ringing. Um, Grateful that on the way to the hospital, like in hindsight, I recognized the guy in the back of the ambulance with me was talking my ears off. And I then recognized later on he was talking my ears off to see my speech level and my awareness and where I was, and I was participating in the conversation so he could see that he was asking me questions about myself, just general conversations that I now know as a professional. He was trying to gauge where I was and the impact that what had happened had had on me. Um, so the access to the use of my body on the left hand side came back before I even left the house, and so I don't have any challenges there. I do feel like my memory is a little off, and it could just be me, could just be old age. But I also feel like my word recall is a bit off. But it's been a week and a day, so I'm giving myself a lot of grace. Um, because I've been in that scary, scary place, and the fact that I can sit here and have a conversation, even if the words don't come as quickly as they were before, is the bonus. Um, the the future for me. Thank you, Rosalind. Thank you, Rosalind. Um, that's a good segue for me because um, when I say, "Hey, Randolph," thank you so much. Um, and Kimberly, who is in my chat, Kimberly Ivy is one of my dear friends, and she and her husband were the first people at the hospital to in the when I was in the ER to see about me. Um, Hang on. What that looks like for me, going forward. Sorry, y'all. Thank you, Key. Thank you. Um, it it looks like so. I have shared before. I have another slide I wanted to share, and I'll share it in a minute. Um, when I talk about my life and how I have set my life up, I absolutely. Oh, Teresa, I'm sorry to hear that. I hope you're feeling better soon. Thank you, Teresa. Um, like part of my tiny house design, the reason I live in a tiny house, um, thank you, Kimberly, um, is and was to it's my retirement plan. It is the way I get to um, a life of peace. I'm happy to be here. I am. Thank you. Um, I purposely I purposely move in ways to not have stress. Um, and that's people, places, and things. Like I don't sign up for unnecessary stress. I move away from drama. I don't even watch drama on TV. That ain't. I don't want that in my energy. Um, I am very. I have been very deliberate in how I move and who I associate with, and the things that I do, because peace and no stress and all of that is important to me. So um, the to find myself in a job situation for these last months that has been very stressful was um, surprising and disappointing, because it was not what the job presented when I took it. Like I would have never signed up for um, a stressful situation. And but it's also something that I knew I needed to do something about. And I have been like y'all know I've been hustling because I really, really, really want to do tiny house work. Like I really, really want to. That is where I feel like I can impact change, and that is where I feel like I can do so many things for people in our community, and where I can make a difference. And it is the thing that I can talk about in my sleep in this community that brings me joy. So I have been hustling these last months, I would say, because I want to grow that, and I need it to grow to be something sustainable, so that I can move away from corporate America, or figure out how to do something housing related that actually has a salary that can supplement the work that I do with tiny houses, and just been trying to figure that out. So it wasn't like I didn't know I needed to make a change, and I had a plan for making a change. And at y'all already know at work I've been saying to everybody that would listen, because I don't, as I say at work, I can only be who I am. I have been very clear that the way things are going there, that it was not sustainable for me. Um, One of those environments where you're in meetings all day, every day, all day long. Everything is due at the same thing. Everything is high profile. It needs to be done at the same time, and not enough people to do the work. And you're in meetings all day long, so there's not even time to do the work. And that's not sustainable. And I have no desires to grow to climb the corporate ladder. And so I have been clear on I had to make a change. I have my resume out there. I have all of those things out there, doing all of the things that I know to do to make a change. And I've kind of felt like the change wasn't happening because I really don't want to work in corporate America. I usually have no problem finding a job. My mother will say that in a minute. She'll say, "Girl, you can find you a job." So the fact that it hasn't happened, I kind of felt like it's because I need to, it, like I'm supposed to be moving in a different direction. And that's the other thing. I try to stay very centered and grounded in listening and in my faith. I don't say I'm religious, but I am very spiritual. And so I've been trying to listen, and I've been trying to do the things to make connections, because y'all also know I'm an introvert. I've said that to y'all. And so, but I've been talking to strangers and putting myself out there and trying to make the connections. I've been listening to the directions that I should be going in and pursuing those. But again, not knowing, no, knowing stress will kill, but just not knowing how close you are to the actual. Um, I haven't been there quite a year, and so I was trying to hit my year mark and make some moves, and I just feel like um, God said, "Nah, they can't go with you into 2024, because I'll hit my year mark in February." And this happened last Saturday. And um, I know for a fact that jobs ain't loyal. I have witnessed a situation where a dear friend passed, and his job was concerned about getting his laptop. They weren't concerned about loss of an employee. They weren't concerned about family pain. They needed their laptop back. I'm clear jobs ain't loyal. Um, I shared with my manager this past Thursday, because this happened on Saturday. I got out of the hospital Wednesday. I shared with my manager on Thursday that I had a mini stroke. She said something to the effect of she was sorry I'd experienced this, and she was sending me a virtual hug. And then on Friday, I I was off all of last week on just PTO, but on Friday I saw her sending notes for the work that needs to get done next week, because the work still got to get done. And I'm sorry you had a stroke, but we got work to do. And what I can tell y'all right now is I don't know what it looks like. I don't know how the bills get paid. I don't know any of that. But what I do know is I was sitting at a desk, and I was sitting at my desk during my work day and feeling a flutter in my chest that I now know to be a hole in my heart, a blood clot that I don't that that almost took me out of here. And what I don't know what I exactly will be doing, but I know for certain what I won't be doing. And to me, that is, I always talk about the definition of insanity. Doing the definition of insanity, doing the same things over and over again and expecting different results. So I know my stress trigger. I know I have a condition. I have to control my stress, and to walk back into the scene of the crime, to get out of a burning building, to walk back into that burning building to burn some more, um, is is not what I'm getting ready to do. And I don't know what that looks like. And I'm actually like, this is on YouTube. This will be public. This is, this isn't a private conversation. I'm clear. I'm clear. Um, there, I had blood clots in my lungs in 2007, bunches of them. I had been walking around just thinking I had a pulled muscle. And I learned then that people drop dead within 24 hours from one blood clot. And I had bunches. And I'd had them for at least 72 hours before I drove myself to the emergency room. Um, I always say God has his hand on me. And I haven't quite figured out all of my what's and whys and what I'm supposed to do, but I I know I'm supposed to be doing something, and um, it's gonna come, and I'm listening, and I'm valuing uh, every opportunity that He keeps me on this side, um, and um, I trust that in my listening that provisions and the way and the path and all of those things will be shown. And um, thank you, Kelly. Um, I trust that with every fiber of my being that, and I was saying to my friend Kimberly, um, I was like, I'm not new to challenges. I don't necessarily want to even say hardship. I'm not new to challenges. I tell my story of being a single mother, any opportunity I get, and knowing and it's part of my passion for who I am and why I want to do the things that I do, like within our community. Um, a young single mother, and knowing I was tasked with keeping a child safe and her well-being was my responsibility. And there was so many times where, like, I can tell you, raising her, how my budget on paper never worked out with my finances. Like, to try to put together a budget, like, it wasn't possible to pay the budget based on my finances. It wasn't because we were living beyond our means or anything like that. It just, the employment wasn't there, which led to my hustle. But there were so many times when I was at zero, like, payday is a week, 2 weeks away, and I'm at zero. And I'm not, but I got a child to feed, and I go to the mailbox, and there would be like a check from renter's insurance. I had overpaid renter's insurance, or end of year something from the mortgage insurance. That would be in the mailbox, something I had no idea was coming, but it would be right there when I was at zero. And that didn't happen one time, it ain't happened two times. It happened for so much of that journey. And so I trust that things are and will work as they're supposed to. I don't it might not be easy. It might be the struggle. I know I have to learn to ask for help. That ain't something I'm used to doing. It is a conversation that I keep having with friends. It is a conversation my um, therapist just had with me on Friday, is being open to asking for help when I need it. Um, so um, those are the things that I will be working on. But what I do know is it'll be okay. Like, the terror of sitting in your body, so the awareness that I have now, um, because as I think about it, like, my plan was get to a year and then try to figure this out, and then this thing happened. But there was an awareness that clicked in, that um, had I got to a year and this not happened, and I just found another job, or whatever happens, that this awareness would never have happened. And absolutely, Rosalind. There was a whole awareness that happened and has continued to happen for me in so many ways. Sitting in my body and not being able to control my body, not being able to move my body, not being able to speak, but being so very aware on the inside of my body, um, and trying to make my body respond, gave me such an awareness for how I've not understood patients, who've experienced strokes, where I think at some point I also felt like there was some brain impact, and they weren't necessarily, I don't want to, I think fully functioning sounds so harsh, but that's really the only thing I can, like, I fully there, like you were, I thought there that was impacted as well. And now I know that they could just really be trapped in there. Like they could be, and I've listened, my friend Kimberly shared a podcast, and I listened to a woman who actually had a major stroke, and she was for several years, like major rehab and all of the things. And she said the same thing about being in her body and people not aware that you're there. And so that brought an awareness for me because I was talking, I was trying to make my body move. I was doing all of the things inside in my head and I was fully functioning, but my body wasn't responding. I couldn't talk. I couldn't move. Um I I don't know. I feel a peace and a calmness. I have often been a worrier and I ain't worried. I ain't worried. And that's unusual for me because I have to figure out all the things and know all the things and think about how this works out and what should I do and I ain't worried. I don't know if I'm getting ready to fill out I filled out paperwork on Friday for the job to take a leave. I don't know if I get paid. Um I ain't worried. Um I'm grateful that and I've shared this before, like as disconnected as I am from people in the city where um, my house is also the rent that I pay for my house is a fifth or a sixth maybe of what I'd pay for an apartment in Charlotte. And um, I can ask 10 of y'all for $40 and get that paid, or I can go be a Walmart greeter and get that paid. I got a car out there that got a car note, but I ain't attached to it, and it won't be the. It ain't like I haven't lost a car in life. It hasn't been in the last many years, but I ain't attached to it. I love it. I ain't attached to it. Um, I know how to get out of it and get something that gets me from point A to B if I need to. If I can't pay that, I'm not worried. And normally I would be worried, but I've got this. It's this. I don't know. It's almost like a sound that's. It's, it's like it's almost like if I try to think about it, it's almost like a hum, like white noise. I think is what it's called. That's just playing in my background. That I'm not worried, and it's a maybe like a one of them weighted blankets, an invisible weighted blanket. I'm not worried. I really feel within my body that um, the the work that I'm want to do, the work that I feel like I am here to do with tiny houses and this work, I feel like that's going to be the thing that sustains me, that turns into this vision that I have. One of the things that I said in my Facebook post is that I can't afford to play about myself anymore. And I've shared with you all, and Key and I have had this conversation. My friend Kim and I have had this conversation. Like it's hard for me to see the impact of the work that I've done and on in other people, and it is often conflicting for me from a place of humility and my upbringing, and you don't brag about stuff and um so it's conflicting for me. It's hard for me to to see impact that I have. And I feel like, and when I say I can't play about me, it is more of owning that. Like I have some work to do, and really listening to people when they say you're helping me, or you've helped me, or watching your journey, or listening to something you said has helped me. And it is where I've kind of just been like, it is now like sitting in that and letting that encourage me, and not, and letting and owning that, I think, is more of what it is. And owning that that is something that I do, and it is something that I'm it's a gift. It is not of me, it is a gift that I'm here to give. And sitting more in that, and understanding I've got work to do. And so those are like the things, the awareness that have been happening for me in this um place that I've been in since last Saturday. Um um and so one of the things, um a woman asked me, as I shared on Instagram what happened. She said it would probably be helpful to talk about how you manage your stress. And um I think, so I'm going to share this slide. Like I um found it on the web, some of the things that, and I just googled like reducing stress, slow down, keep calm, be positive, take it easy, breathe, have fun, enjoy life, unplug, relax, go outside. I think maybe that should be smile and meditate. I don't like hokey stuff. Like, I mean, it's easy to say take it easy. It's easy to say keep calm. And but sometimes when you are in the throes of life, that's not always a realistic conversation. And um, I think for me, the things when I talk about stress, like um, when I've said I've designed my life to be stress free, a major part of reducing stress, it has been therapy for me. Because part of that conversation is has to be around how do you manage stress, because it doesn't just automatically disappear, but how you process stress, and how you process, and again, this is people, places, things, how you work through those stressors, and therapy is key to that. So I've had um, two major stints with therapy. And my current one, I started really as a response to this job, to how do I process this, and then how do I and then also documenting what I was going through for this job. And I just have been really blessed to connect with a Black woman that is just amazing, and so that has been um, big for me. But therapy, my first stints in therapy, um, where I really got serious about it, when I actually had first built my tiny house, um, gave me the foundation for how I navigate stress, how I deal with people, how I deal with my feelings, how I deal with all of that, how you process things. And it's a continual journey to to learn and process. But I feel like, um, especially our community, I think we're getting better at it, but we don't always speak to the need for therapy. I think it's something that doesn't always happen for men. I've seen the comments here where Black women are, we're supposed to be strong and resilient, and we're supposed to be all of those things, but there's really oftentimes no way for us to be weak or be vulnerable, and you've got to have that type of support system. And so therapy is the number one. But then also, I also don't subscribe to having to put myself in situations and places with people that are stressful because they are, long term, because they're family or long term friends that have been around for a long time, and or family that you just got to put yourself in situations because it's family, and or you just got to accept things that cause you stress and unhappiness because it's family. Absolutely not. um so, it is the doing of things that where you prioritize yourself and you're taking care of yourself, and you are the priority, and um that is a game changer, to help you, and reading the books. There are a lot of books out there. Reading those books and putting yourself in places where you're surrounding yourself with those things that keep you centered. Um, so that is key for the conversation for me, for removing removing stress, and then or eliminating or relieving stress. And then just really being focused on what your stressors are and trying to make changes, incremental, small changes to move away from stressors. And I think the major thing, because I've said it and I see it, the statistics, stress is the number one killer, from heart disease and heart attacks and strokes. And I am now here to to um to as a witness. Absolutely. Absolutely. And it is not just breathing through it. It is moving away from it, because the damage and the harm that it causes to your body is major. And I am a full witness for that. Meditation is is important. My practice isn't as strong as I'd like for it to be, but that is something that I do, and I try to get better at. And it is a constant process, something that you have to continue practicing. I don't. I know that you don't ever achieve it, but it is something that you practice daily. Exercising. Someone commented about health. For me, it's not a health, like I wasn't not taking care of myself. I work out. I eat decently for the most part. I do love some candy though. But mine is, this heart thing that I would have never known about, outside of stress aggravating it. But taking care of our mental and spiritual and emotional and physical health is really important. And so at this point, I kind of feel like I'm rambling. It's 1 o'clock. And so I've been chatting. Let me go back and read the comments. Thank y'all. Always. I say that all the time. I can God honors tears. I can tell you all that I have always been a crier, and I feel like my crying has been um on another level, and I'm okay with it. Having sat in my head and my body not responding. Thank you. I'm happy to be here. We y'all can just get used to the tears, because my gratitude um and my emotion are on another level for sure. Thank you, Kelly. Thank you, Queen. Oh, absolutely. Teresa said when I had my DVT, deep vein thumb something, I know that means. I decided after my daughter had to move in with me to take care of me, I need less stress. Absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, hey, Robert. Robert, I'm good. I am, y'all see my glass? Mm, um, I am, I'm good. I'm grateful to be here. Absolutely, Teresa. Thank you. Um, Rosalind, I believe that. I believe that. Thank you. I feel that. Like it has been um more of previously more of a, I think I say like a vision board thing, like I'm envisioning it. But now I feel it. So thank you. I thank you. No, they won't, Kelly. Always worth listening to that inner voice, even if something doesn't work out in the end. You tried it, you did it, and you can revisit it if a new opportunity presents itself. Absolutely. No, that's true. The corporate wheel has to keep moving. So absolutely. Thank you, Teresa. Let's see. Robert. Robert said, "Don't talk to strangers, talk to God. Find a private place at home, turn off all distractions, just sit there and say hello. May I just be close to you? Tell him that you need a hug." Absolutely, that's beautiful. Thank you, Robert. Keith says, "Not a breakdown, but a breakthrough. They are scary sometimes, but are a must. You are built for all that you are going through. Faith is something else." Absolutely. Thank you, Day. Thank you for that information. Rosalind said, "I know the feeling when my bank account laughed at me. God laughed louder and always provided." Absolutely. And Teresa is saying she's been laid off 3 times. You know what, Teresa? I have been laid off so many times. I have lost count. I said I needed to go back and look at my resume and count the times that I have been laid off. Um, but I always knew being laid off meant I was being set up for something better. And I've always, as other people who, like I remember one time being laid off and the entire sales office was laid off, and the vice president of that office had never been laid off before, and he had moved from Pennsylvania to this was in Atlanta, and bought a big house and all of the things. And I think this was the first time he had been laid off. And when I tell you that man was crying when we found out we had got laid off, and he came out and he was bothered that I wasn't crying. I wasn't my first time being laid off, wasn't my last time being laid off. And he asked me about it, and I basically said the same thing. This ain't my first time being laid off, and I know I will be all right. Like, I don't make the money you make. And it might be harder to find. I don't know, but I'm not. It ain't the first time, and it'll be all right. So yes, I have been laid off multiple times, and each time I have been led to something better. And I tell people who are experiencing layoffs and things like that, it's oftentimes you get comfortable in a position and don't even recognize that you should be out looking for something else, and that there's something else out there for you that's better. So yeah, I'm with you. Um, Teresa's saying her sister struggled with her words for a year and had been paralyzed on the left side for over 2 months. Um, thank you, Key. I'm grateful that I have full function of my body and that came back immediately. The words, like y'all already know. But the other thing that my MRI showed was that the new thing that happened was on the left side, but I have one infarction on the right side, which indicated I had a stroke some other time. It was an old one. And what he said, the doctor said that most people actually experience um, strokes and don't even know that they're having them. Like sometimes if you're dizzy, you could be having a stroke and don't even really know that you're having a stroke. So at some point, I've never had all of the symptoms that I had last Saturday, but apparently I've had something like that happen before. Yes, Doris, focused. Thank you. He says, look at the chat. We are here every Sunday because of you and what you do. We choose to show up every Sunday to be in comfort and conversation with you. Your impact is felt. I I don't take that for granted. I think the realization for the community support hit me um a few months ago when I realized I didn't really have topics to like I didn't always have a question to answer and explore, and I didn't always have guests, and you all were still here, and the conversation would go and we'd talk, and I thank you, Teresa. Yeah, y'all subscribe. I realized the community support was here to be in community and be in conversation, and it wasn't that I had to have everything prepared and official, that you all were here to support, and I appreciate that. I did, Day. I did. Your health first, Jewel. Take a leave from work, apply for disability, and focus on what you love doing. You said corporate America was not for you a long time ago. Absolutely. Absolutely. Um, Thank you. If everyone did a little something on Patreon, it would show our appreciation. You can do a small monthly amount. It's a wonderful way to show how much Jewel means to us. Thank you so much. I am going to, with that, let me drop my link to Patreon right now. Y'all join me on Patreon, because one of the things that has come clear to me is, so I want to, I think I said this the other week, Patreon will allow for more intimate conversations, like where we can actually, I want to use a tool that allows us to actually see each other and be in conversation. So y'all join me on Patreon, because I want to have some some deeper conversations. All right, let me see. Um, Thank you, Diane. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Thank you, Randolph. Rosin said, being a strong black woman is none of my business. That is not a badge of honor, and it will kill you. Absolutely. Thank you, Creative Community Corner. Thank you. Robert said, now you still know that I'm going to marry your crying. What is it? Why does Robert act like that? That is hilarious. That is so funny. Thank you, Robert. Key says you must go to that place of hurt, confusion, misunderstanding, and chaos to heal. Um, you may not understand the process, but it is necessary. You must trust the process, though it is scary sometimes. I absolutely agree with that. That is one of the posts that I put on Instagram, that it was the all great changes are preceded by chaos. And um, my last week here has been chaotic, but it has been a place of gratefulness, gratitude that I am on this side of it, and whole, and an opportunity to move forward. So thank you, Judith. Thank you, Judith. Thank you, Lay, I think it is. I hope I'm saying that right. Yeah. Thank you, Linda. Lisa said, maybe consider getting a life alert in case of emergency. Lisa, don't have me walk in my house and go get my life alert and show it here. Um, did already done check. In addition to um doing all of the things, my safety is foremost, and I did order. Thank you, Lisa, for that reminder to call that out. Like I feel like life alerts are for old people, but I am old people. I am very remote. I am out here alone. Not like my Apple Watch can do the things, but I think in what was happening to me, like it never occurred to me to even use Siri to try to call someone. But and even as I was trying to call my friend Kim, I wasn't even sure. Like I started trying to say I need help, and I was trying to say that like I couldn't form the words. But the life alert, like pressing the button to get some help, is a game changer. And I've many years ago, I'd ordered one for my great grandmother, like my aunt that's 100 years old. Like those are things that I've known for older people. But the realization that I am out here and I have to save myself, means that I ordered one. So thank you, Lisa. I have one. Um, so I it just came late yesterday, so I have to activate it, and I will be doing that. Um, Judith, don't you cut up with Robert. Um, okay. Thank you, Rosalind, for that tip. Rosalind said I had a huge smirk on my face when I got kicked off the corporate America plantation. They thought I was crazy. Um, they can think what they want, right? Thank you, Nova, before you go. Wishing you peace, joy, comfort, and health. Thank you so much. Um, do you say Desiree or Desiree? That's my middle name, and I adore it. My name is I say Desiree. I don't see an accent on your E, so I'm not sure. Thank you for sharing your story, work, healing journey, words, the community you built. This channel is beautiful, and I'm grateful to be here with y'all. Thank you and Happy New Year. Thank you so much for being here. Love, love, love your name. Um, Thank you, Teresa. Thank you, Cynthia. Thank you. All right. Um, yes, Robert made me laugh today. Thank you, Rosalind. Hi, Wayne. Thank you for being here. No, Day. So you don't have to have a landline for it. They have a mobile one. You don't have to have a landline anymore. I have the one I have actually has a mobile component to it, so I can take it with me traveling throughout the U.S. With this mobile component. And it has an alert you can wear around your neck, or you can wear it on your arm like a watch, and you do not have to have a landline. Cynthia said they have some cute life alerts. I don't know that mine is too cute. Mine is from ADT. Like I didn't even feel like doing a whole bunch of research. I know ADT is a strong name, and so that was what I went with. And so when y'all see mine, don't y'all be acting like y'all don't know what's going on. Yes, Rosalind. Right, cute life alerts. Um, Teresa is saying it's so hard for me to realize that my generation is the older generation in my family too. I got my Medicaid notice this year. Um, yeah, because I mean, I'm 56. I'll be 57 next year. Um, my younger person, hearing somebody was 56, 57, I would have thought they were old. I just don't feel old. And most of the time in my head, I feel like a 13-year old. So I don't feel old, and I try real hard not to look old. But old people. I now have a life alert and I'm kind of proud of it. My friend Tavares, so I have some really good friends who look after me and they're gonna make sure I'm laughing. And so my friend Tavares, and I had just shared with him, I was still in the hospital and I was sharing with him what happened. And in the end of the conversation, as we were closing the conversation, he was saying about the life alert, and he started he started looking on Amazon. He said he was gonna bling mine out for me. He's like, I know you're fancy, so I'm gonna bling yours out for you. And then he asked me, did I need him to build me a ramp at the house? And I was still in the hospital, and I was like, Tavares, it's too early. Like this isn't. We're not. I'm not ready for jokes yet, but of course I laughed. So yeah, I have a life alert. Yeah, Rosalind, I've fallen, I can't get up isn't funny anymore. It's a reality. The funny part for me has been that since I've been out here, I jokingly say to myself, jokingly but always serious, say to myself, like when I go outside and I make sure I have my phone, it is because there is nobody around me. And so I say to anybody, like by the time they find me, I would be a carcass because there's some big birds out here, some big animals. I mean, these feral cats would eat me up after a while when they realized I wasn't getting back up because that's what animals do. I am very clear that I need to have the ability to call for help, which is why I always have my watch. I always have my phone. And this past Saturday, I did not follow any of my own safety rules, so I am doing better. And so okay, so Desiree is saying, "Oh, you have it is okay. You've got your accent in the middle. I have mine on my last E." Yeah, the computer always wants to fix something. All right, nice to meet you. Um, yeah, Judith, I got to figure out what it looks like, but it will. And I think I did the necklace, but I'm getting ready to swap mine out, and I think I'm getting a wrist the watch thing. And the bonus of it is like you don't have to take it off in the shower, like you can wear it all the time. So that's one of the things because I have to remember to put my watch on after I get dressed and stuff. My watch can actually go in the shower, but I take it off. But that way you can keep it on and don't even if if you fall in the shower or whatever, then you have access to it. Thank you, Rosalind. I will be doing some things on Patreon very soon so we can have some of those conversations. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, all right. I am getting ready to let you all get to your Sunday afternoon. I am doing all of the things. I thank you all for the support. I ask you for your continued support in sharing with others. And if you've got ideas of things that I could be doing or opportunities to look into, I'm always open to that. And I just thank y'all so much. I thank y'all for sitting in conversations with me on Sunday to let me um, share and for your support and your love. So many of you I haven't actually met in person, and that's next time I'll talk about meetups. Atlanta, we've got a date and a location, and I'm still working on DC. So I'll share those dates. But I just thank you all for support and being community to um, and the love that you show me. And I appreciate it so much. I'm grateful. Um, so thank you. Um, let's see what else. Um, Robert is cutting up. Um, yes, Day. I absolutely. know where my phone is. And again, this past Saturday, I even said to myself, "You don't have your phone. Like you're doing all the wrong things that you know not to do." And that was I had no idea of what was to come. Casey said, "And don't forget to have him install the grab bar." Oh my goodness. Um, like the video. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, Key is saying, I have a room in my house called the sitting room. The only thing you can bring in the room is you, no devices of any kind. My kids were brought up knowing that is the safe place to decompress. Um, I love that. I love that for your kids. Um, my house is that space for me, which is like why leaving the hospital, like my friends and family have been concerned that I wanted to come home and that I'm out here by myself. But this my house is my place. My house is my space. And I know that if I had been anywhere else, I still wouldn't be in that space. Of like this is a healing space for me. My home centers me, and it's so much of like when I said, designing my life to be stress free. There's so much that has gone into designing my house and the decor that is my place, and it is my happy space. And um, so I get that. That's really important. That's really, really important. Okay, Rosalind. Thank you, Judith. Thank you, Lisa. I appreciate it. Happy New Year, everybody. Thank you for spending your last day of 2023 with me. I look forward to seeing all of you in 2024, being in community with you all, sharing space and time. Everyone be safe. And just thank you. I value and appreciate you all more than you know. So have a happy and safe New Year, happy Sunday, and all of the things. Take care, y'all.